Welcome back to Broken Bobby's transformation page. In the late 80s, I became involved with drugs and would eventually become part of that lifestyle of trafficking, addiction, and violence. Over the next 20 years, I would be in and out of jail and prison. If you're thinking about trying something or you're dealing with addiction, your life don't need to go down the same path mine did. I hurt a lot of people, both physically and emotionally. These are my stories of how I transformed my life, and you can too. Let's get in.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see by the thumbnail, this is a war story from Orange County, the snitch. This is Anaheim, California. This is probably, I want to say about 99, 2000, right around in there. And somebody was telling. Before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash that like button, drop a comment, be sure to share the video, and become a member of the channel. There will be exclusive content, and we're working on some merch and possibly some giveaways for the members. So check that out, and let's get into this story. So, like I said, it's around 99, maybe 2000, and I'm hustling in Anaheim. I got a spot in the area of Lincoln and Magnolia in these apartments, and from that spot, a couple of other runners basically broke off from that spot. One was all the way at the other end of Anaheim, down near the 57, and then there was one that was at the Lincoln Inn, which is just a little ways down the road. On I believe it was on. I'm trying to think. Lincoln and Magnolia. It was on Lincoln. It's the Lincoln Inn. Duh. Okay, so I got this guy Chris at the Lincoln Inn, and he's taking care of business for me, like I'm dropping off like maybe a half a O, maybe twice a week with this guy. And, he's taking care of business, and money is good. And I think I've told this story before, but for those of you that didn't see the video, I'll bring you up to speed on it. So Chris is dealing for me over there at the Lincoln Inn. It's like long-term. It's like a long-term hotel basically that you rent by the month, and it's the Carter over there basically. Like there's a bunch of people that are smoking and doing that sort of stuff, and Chris is taking care of business for me over there. Well, on this one particular day, I pull up, I drop something off, I get the cash, and I head out. Like I already stopped by JoJo's spot, which was the main one. The guy down at the other end of Anaheim by the 57, he didn't need anything right now. So I'm heading up. I don't remember what street I'm heading up, but I'm heading up a street that's going to take me back up to the 91. And he calls me. Like it's maybe been 20, 30 minutes. So like I just missed the festivities, if you will, over at Chris's pad. Well, apparently the ATF showed up. For what, I don't know. What I was told was that he had a long firearm that they had some interest in. And basically he gave me up, like he called me up and he said, hey, can you bring some of that white stuff back? He said it in more specific terms though, and we didn't talk that way on the phone. So immediately, this was way out of the regular for Chris. Like I said, Chris would pick up about twice a week, and this was unusual, So he's speaking very specifically in this phone call, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is up with this guy, So I tell him, hey, you know what? Reception is bad. Let me get to a landline and I'll call you back. But, I don't acknowledge anything that he's talking about. Well, the homie Bird, who was basically like, he was like the security for the main spot. He calls me up. He says, hey, fool, did you hear that, they just kicked in the door at Chris's spot. ATF agents all over the place. And I'm like, motherfucker, you got to be kidding me. So now I know what time it is, right? Well, let's fast forward a bit. So nothing becomes of that. They don't, I don't get into any sort of trouble from that. I guess I handled that correctly and didn't acknowledge what dude was talking about. And so, maybe a week or two passes, and I'm over at the main spot kicking it with JoJo and Bird. And I think the other homie from the other end of town was over there too, Cisco. And I get a phone call that, because now we're looking for this guy. I had assumed he was locked up, but, you know, I knew a few people down there, although I tried to keep my name out of the mix as much as possible. I didn't want to be known. I just wanted to make the money. I didn't need celebrity status or none of that stuff, because that stuff will get you in handcuffs. But somebody called, and no, actually, I think they called JoJo is what it was, and they said, "Hey, Chris is over here right now." So I forget what happened. I think my battery had went dead because we were bumping the music, and so the homie Bird says, I got this chick over here. We'll use her car. So we're rolling in this white Malibu, and the four of us jump in the car, and we head over to the Lincoln Inn. We're trying to see what's up with this guy. Like we definitely want to talk to him. So we come pulling in the parking lot at the Lincoln Inn, and this motherfucker is just like standing out there like it's nothing. He sees us, his eyes get big. We pull up, doors fly open, and we're on this dude. Like, we basically give him a good beating. And, I don't, I want to stress, I don't say this stuff to justify, but you have to protect the image that you put out there. And when you're in the illegal narcotics business, the only thing that's understood is violence. So, this was the life I was living at this time, and this was the action that we were taking. And, we handled this guy. And honestly, looking back, I will say, you know, we were taking penitentiary chances, and for what? Like, I don't have any of that money anymore. Like, I was making tons of cash at that time, but when money comes easy, money goes easy, and pretty much that's what happened. And I will say it again for the people in the back. We were taking penitentiary chances for what? There's no 401k plan with this stuff. Like, it don't matter how good of a hustler you are out there, like, unless you're funneling it into something legit and it don't get seized when you end up getting busted, which always happens, then this is the end result. So now, one thing I do want to say, I called this guy a snitch, and I want to clarify what a snitch is from my perspective. Okay, that word gets thrown around a lot. Oh, this dude's a snitch. That dude's a snitch. If you are in the game, if you're gangbanging, whatever you may doing that is illegal, and you doing it with someone else, or as part of an organization or a crew, or maybe just with a crimey, and then you get busted and you're looking at a bunch of time and you decide you want to turn state's evidence and tell, that is a snitch. And as the saying goes, snitches get stitches. Like, it's cliche, but one thing I was taught young in life: if you're gonna do the crime, you better be prepared to do the time. And Just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean you need to make someone else have a bad day. So now, that's the way I see a snitch. If you are a regular family living in the house and someone gets shot in front of your house and you tell the cops what happened, I don't see that as a snitch. I mean, yeah, they're telling on you, but they had nothing to do with it. They're not gaining anything by it. So, I think it's different playing fields there. But, you know, uh, the thing is, we were doing a lot of stuff down there at that time, and there was some gunplay and stuff that would come in later. But the one thing I am really thankful for is that I didn't have it on me at that time, and nobody else did it either, because to protect the image that we were putting out there, like this guy could have ended up unalived, and I would have never met all of you guys on YouTube had that happen. So I was truly blessed in that aspect. But there's a lot of people that weren't that lucky. Like prison yards are full of people that are living with regret because they did something to protect an image that they were portraying. And it's a shame. I've heard Dubs say plenty of times, any of those guys that are in there, doing all day or doing life as it is, would change with you in a heartbeat, no matter how boring you may think your life is. Like, we are blessed to be free. So, family, fitness, and freedom are the things that help me get my life together, and they can help you as well. Uh, Family don't necessarily need to be blood, it's just people that you trust and that you can rely on. Fitness of the mind, body, and soul, for that matter. Hitting the gym, just having peace of mind that when you leave the house, the chances of you ending up in handcuffs are very low, is amazing. And freedom, freedom from all of this stuff. Those are the cornerstones of what helped me to transform my life and become a productive member of society, as they say. So if you're looking to get into sobriety or you're new to sobriety, welcome. If I could do it, you could do it. Like, I was strung out for a long time and I managed to come back, and you can too. So that's my story for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this sort of content. Also, like the video if you enjoyed it. Drop a comment either way and share the video. It really helps to support the channel. And like I said, there's memberships available. You can check that out. I have a exclusive up for members right now, Operation Consequences, about some indictment type stuff that went down in the Inland Empire recently. So yeah, you can check that out as well. Don't look at the mountain, just start climbing.